Hey everybody, Barry here again. It's another early morning. I usually come in a couple hours before work and get some work done on my truck. Today I'm going to tackle the gauges. I took the truck out on the highway yesterday for a drive, and the gauges, some of them are kind of wonky. The RPM for sure. I think the battery gauge and transmission temperature or oil pressure. Let's have a look. Let's see. Oh well, our tech is already freaking out. Oil pressure and battery gauge. Those seem to be the ones that aren't working correctly. Yeah, they're not working right, are they? So I need to fix my battery gauge, oil pressure, tach over here. So to fix those, I've got another gauge from an 03 to 07 truck. I'm going to plug it in, make sure those gauges themselves actually work, and then I'm going to desolder the bad gauges, put in the good gauges. I don't want to buy new ones. I've got lots of parts trucks, so let's try it out. Here we have the stock gauge, actually from this truck. It doesn't have transmission temperature, which doesn't matter because we don't need it. All of the other gauges look like they're in the correct positions anyway. I've got the gauge taken out. Gotta shut this off. Put it back here. My favorite part about these trucks is how easy they are to take apart. Everything just unhooks, unclips, no fooling around. If I had to do this on a BMW or a Volkswagen, it'd be a big undertaking. Put that down there. Here we go. Well, it's in Spanish. I'm pretty sure it's in Spanish. I thought this was a Canadian truck. Anyway, let's see if it'll run. Well, we seem to have tach. We've got tach. Oil pressure works. Battery voltage is correct. Dude, that's all we need. That is it. Let's start taking them apart. I've never done this before. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. But hey, I'm glad you're along for the ride. I've got both gauges laid out right here, and I took a bunch of pictures of factory needle positions right here, because these needles aren't keyed. They just kind of pop on and pop off. So if I take it off and I put it back on half tank, that's where it's going to rest. So I want to make sure that I know exactly where all the needles sit when I took them off, along with these here also, just to be sure that I can put this back together the way it came apart. Let's try it. This is absolutely new territory for me, but we're going for it anyway. For this job, I have Dwayne loaned me his solder sucker, cool rig, and also his soldering pencil here. It's got low power and high power. He suggested I use low power to make sure that I don't overheat the circuit board and damage something. So that's what I'll be doing. He said to put some water in this sponge here so I can clean the tip as I go, because that tip has to be nice and clean. And then get it heated up, clean off the tip, and then start soldering. How hard can it be? I've got the soldering pencil warming up while I'm taking these apart. I don't know why, but in the past I've noticed that these take absolutely forever to get hot. Now maybe this is better than the dollar store ones that I've used before, but I'm gonna plug it in anyway, get it all heated up, and I'm gonna pull this apart. These are relatively easy to take apart. You just pop these tabs off here carefully on both sides, pop the back off, and then you can work on getting the front off, which is popping these tabs off right here. I also went ahead and laid out some cardboard so I don't damage my gauge. It's really nice and clean, and I don't want to mess it up. So you just pop these tabs off the back. It's very simple. Or the bottom, and then the top comes right off and exposes your circuit board. And then these top three over here. Now these are going to prove to be a little bit difficult, but nothing too serious. this weight, then the face comes off. What I've seen a couple people do on the videos that I've watched is they take a little piece of tape like this, I guess I can't do the RPM one, can I? And just like that. They put tape down and under the needle and then sort of mark it. Now I keep moving my needles, so try not to do that. But if I do get mixed up, then I know also that I took pictures. So I'm just going to mark vertically right in under the needle. Just kind of get my eye in there and right above it. So that'll give me an idea also when I go to put this thing back together. And now I can just pop the needles off. And let's see if I can get this off without damaging anything. I want to try something less abrasive than a metal one, but I have. Oh, okay, that's not bad. I got a plastic one here now. Don't want to damage anything to make more work for myself. All right, here we go. Cool. These are our gauge faces. There's the back. And all of our stepper motors. So I need to desolder these from the board, which is daunting. Each one has 4 solders. So this here would be transmission temperature, RPM, speedometer, oil pressure, gas gauge, battery, and coolant temperature. So I'll mark the ones I need to replace. Okay, oil pressure and battery, RPM. Now we just got a little indicator so I know I don't go take out the wrong part. These seem to have part numbers on them, XC5168. C5168, they all have the same numbers, just 102.51.4. They all have the exact same part number on them. So that makes me think that they're all the same. I don't know if this is a stepper motor or a rheostat. Somebody come in here and tell me, because I think the older ones had stepper motors, if I'm not wrong. So let's see. I'm going to go pull this gauge apart now and make sure that they have the same parts, because it's no good to put a wrong piece back in. And we'll check back in. Well, here's the Silverado plate, and we can see that there is different numbers. X15168, XC5168. So the C and the 1 is different. 102, C15 or 51.4. This is all different. So I'm going to go and do a little bit of research and see if there is any difference. Hopefully they're the same. Well, I came over here on Dorman's site, and this is the stepper motor part. It's just like the part number or whatever. Right here, 05 Cadillac Escalade, which is what my gauge is. And right here, we have 2003 Silverado 1500 base model automatic trans. And that's what this gauge is. So these may be just like production numbers or something, or run numbers so that they know when they were made, what plant. These were made in 2 different plants, I'm sure. So I'm gonna go try it anyway. Why not? I know they work, so what's the worst that can happen? Before I go and get into this, I just kind of looked at everything back here, like all the traces and stuff, and I don't see any damage. I don't see anything broken. That doesn't mean it isn't. So if you have gauges that don't work, you may have, you know, broken parts or broken traces or whatever you want to call it in here, because all of this is just a printed circuit. Doesn't mean that the stepper motor itself is broken, but, you know, normally it is the stepper motor. I'm going to go ahead and try to desolder a broken one first because, hey, it's already broken. I also went ahead and put in a couple of red dots here and here, and then right over here, so that I have it on the same on the back, so I know I'm taking it the correct gauge. All right. Never done this before, but I'm gonna try it today. Let's crack our little bolt action solder sucker. Oh boy, this is terrifying. Okay, I guess it's hot. Just made some steam. Let's see if this works. Is it warm? I can't really tell. I'm a little bit awkward with this stuff, but oh, look at this. It's starting to melt. It didn't do anything. I need to melt it more, I think. I got a little bit off, but let's leave it for a little bit longer. Get the solder pulled up there nice. I don't know. It may have worked. Maybe it's just me trying to make everything perfection, like I usually do, and mess it up. I think I am getting solder out of it. Just move on to the next one and try that. It does come loose, but it doesn't get rid of the solder. Well, I'm gonna have to keep trying at this, and we'll check back in a sec. I can't believe it actually worked. I can't believe it actually worked. Look at that. It just popped right out. And I was worried that I wouldn't put it back in the same, you know, orientation, but there's a little locating pin right here, and there's a hole right there, and that's it. That is so cool. So, I guess I might as well just take out all the bad ones, and then I'll start taking them out of this one. That way I'll be practiced and ready, and I can take them out of this. So I know that the gauges that I need work, so I'll just take them out of the same ones. One funny thing, look, the little needles came out of some of them. Actually, all of them except for this one. The needles came out with the gauge thing. So I'll have to be able to put those back in also. I actually got them all out. That's so cool. This is really, really neat. So I think they all are holes now. I may have to go over with the soldering iron, just warm up the bit of solder that's there and then suck it out of the way. This little thing is so cool. It's awesome. And I like how it's bolt action. It's like bang. Super cool. I'm gonna go desolder these now and pop them in and just pray to the car gods that it works. On to the Silverado gauge cluster. Okay, look at this. We have 3 new stepper motors. Well, they're not new, but they are stepper motors. Mint, lay the parts rig over there. New one in here. And I'm just gonna pop them in. I just pulled this little needle out of the gauge needle. Just gonna kind of pop that back in there and hope that I get it done correctly, because only one came apart without taking this piece out, and I can kind of see down in there that it's gonna go in like this. I don't know why that would happen. I don't know. I don't really like having to do this, but spin. No, it doesn't spin. Doesn't sound very good, does it? Let's see if the other ones in my gauge one do. They spin. What will you spin, I wonder? Oh, it doesn't spin. Oh no. Don't tell me this won't work. That would be annoying, wouldn't it? I do have another truck out there with more gauge pieces in it. I don't know. I kind of got to nip it to make it work. Okay, if we look at the one that didn't pop this piece out, I can just do it by hand, no problem. These, I cannot do it by hand without nipping the shaft with pliers. Why do you have to be like that, I wonder? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try it anyway. I'm gonna pull this one here out. I'll put that in the tack, I guess. And I'll know then if it works at all, because this one here is good. And then I'll know if these don't work, then something got messed up and I'll pull them out of another gauge. Okay, well here is the one that works well. The tack is right here. We go that way. Just gonna pop it in there, make sure the wires come through all the way. Good. Now, I've never used a soldering pencil before, at least not the correct way. Dwayne said to get it down into the sponge here with some water in it and make sure it's nice and clean. And he said, I can't remember what the word is. Is it tin it? Where you put some solder on the iron tip? Come on, work. I'm so impatient. I think I just cooled it down too much. Oh, let's come back up again. Going slow like this makes me want to light up the blowtorch, but I know that's not a great idea for sensitive electronics. Oh, we got some melting going on. All right, so it's soldering, it's melting. So now I suppose
Just gotta put it right on top of that thing there. It's just kind of globbed up there, but let's see if any of this is going to work for me at all. So I guess I got to get the wire hot to have a bit of solder down there. Not make a huge mess out of it. Okay, that's good. It looks like it's doing something. So let's take this one. I don't know if any of these are going to work or not, but I'm going to try it anyway. Is it going to work? I don't know. Do I have that much skill? Definitely don't know. Maybe that. Works or not is a different story. I'm going to keep trying until something happens. Anyway. Cool. All right. Got it all soldered. You might hear the sound quality change, and that's because I got a lapel mic. My boss picked me up, and he's like, your video quality or your audio quality could be a bit better, so went and ordered me one. That's so cool. So I'm going to go put this thing on now. Hopefully it works. I'm tempted to just go and kind of snap it in like this and see if they all move, but I don't think that's a great idea. So let's move some of this stuff out of the way. We'll put the Escalade pieces back on. This is Escalade? Yes, this is Escalade. Look at that. Lay that back on there. And I really, really hope this is going to work the first time. Not usually that lucky, but hey, at least to stay positive. Suppose I should do it this way, shouldn't I? I think I'd like to get in here and clean up this lens and stuff inside also. But I'll be sure that I'm not going to have to do this 2 or 3 more times before I go and spend my time doing that. Oh wait. Oh no, I didn't put the needles on yet. Let me take this back off. All right, take 2. Let's see if this is going to work. Let's see. God, I hope it does work. Everything snaps together like it should. I think all these small ones are the same size, so pop that right back on there where it went. Pop all these smaller ones on. I'm just going to be careful to put them back where they were. My only problem is I don't have a reference for the ones that didn't work because, of course, they didn't work. These are the same size. I'm just going to put the RPM to 0. Because, you know, it's not running, so I assume 0 is going to be 0, but yeah, they do move. It's not hard to move or anything, it's just like isn't going to work right. I'll know if it works from my battery voltage anyway. I'll be able to tell if the battery voltage works or not. Okay, so needles. I don't know why that one felt like going all the way up, but okay. I may end up having to calibrate this a little bit, but that's all I'm going to put in there for right now. I don't feel like putting the whole face back on to find out that something doesn't work. All right, let's see how the audio is now. More importantly, let's see if my gauge cluster works or not. How's this going to work, I wonder? Come on, plug in. Oh boy. Oh, the tack isn't happy. Gas gauge still works. That's a good sign. Oh, that one's way tight. Vroom, vroom. It just wants to be all the way up. Okay, so that was a hard failure. Actually, that was the good one, wasn't it? Oh, wait. Oh, what? Huh. It actually works. Okay, well, the tack seems like it may actually work. That's a good sign. Gas gauge. Didn't see oil pressure, actually. Let's try again. Oh, oil pressure doesn't work. But that's something. I mean, the tack did something. I don't know if it's correct, if it's accurate or not, but I can do that. Yeah, bait it up. I can fix that with my HP tuner. I'll take note of where it's reading, and I'll take note of where my actual idle is, because I think I'm idle up around 900 or so, and that was hanging out down around here. So I can calibrate that. I'm not discouraged. I will go and grab another gauge cluster of another truck that I have, and we'll try it again.
Well, it's tomorrow now, and I went outside and grabbed another gauge. Let's check it out. I've just got it plugged in right here. I did a little bit of testing last night, and I'm still getting used to this little microphone thing down here, so it might take a little bit to get used to it. Okay, let's see. I got the steering wheel right in the way, don't I? So we have a lot of dust. It's just not working at all. Go away, signal light. I guess it's gonna stay on. Let's fire this thing up. Tack works. Oil pressure works. Battery works. So I'm going to take the same three again and hope that they don't get broken like the other ones did. I don't know why it happened, but well, we'll do it again. So I know we've all seen this a couple times now, so I'm going to go ahead and just change out these stepper motors here. And if I get somewhere with it, we'll come back. If I don't, we'll come back and see what happened. I just took all the needles out of this gauge, and every one of them came out without the little pin. All the pins are still in the gauges. And I also took a picture of the needles as they were, and I kind of moved them around a little bit. And every needle, the end of the motor, because they can only turn so far left and right, the end of the motor on every one was right at the zero, except for the gas gauge, which was kind of like down here further, which is what I'd call normal, because my vehicle has been down there more than it's been up here. So I know that's right. But every other needle stops right at the zero mark. So that's what I'm going to put them on when I put it back together. I'm going to go take this apart now and unsolder these, or desolder these stepper motors. I'm getting a lot more confident with this thing, this soldering thing. I just did them all like one shot, didn't seem to have any issues. Let's plug it in and hope it works. Okay, moment of truth, boys and girls. Oh, we got battery voltage. Oil pressure is okay, so I need to fix that. That's not a big deal. Gas gauge seems right on. Temperature hand came up a little bit, so I think I'll bring that one back down. Transmission temperature up a little tiny bit. RPMs are up a bit, so speed is up a little bit. So I'll fix that in a little bit. Let's see about the RPM, oil pressure, battery. Ooh, we've got a tag. It's up high, but that's fine. oil pressure, and we got battery. Look at that. That is sick. Oh yeah, man. I think I'm going to call that a success. Okay, so we can see that after I turned the key off, all the gauges stayed where they were, sort of with the key on. So now I can carefully pop them off, move it down just a bit, pop them back on again, because the stepper motors seem to have found where they want to sit. So I'm just going to pop that off there really quick. Attempt number 86. Let's go plug it in. I moved it around a little bit, so might have to reset those before I plug it in and turn the key on, but let's try it. I just want to say that as much work as this is, as many hours I've put into it, which is like 2.5 hours probably so far, a new stepper motor kit from Dorman here is like $300. I'm not paying that. I paid like 40, 50, 60, 80 bucks for one truck, and I've got several out there, so I'll desolder every stepper motor I can until this thing works, and it'll cost me basically nothing. So I'm just going to reset these needles down to their respective zeros. I don't know if this matters or not, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just plug it in. It always makes this crazy buzzing sound that scares me, but there we go. All right, key is on. My coolant temperature, I think it is really low, so I'm just going to pop that one off. See if I can get these off without breaking anything. Gas gauge I put on far too low. Let's try it again. Hazards work. Okay, we're good on everything else. Now I'm just going to leave the key on and pop these in place. So as far as I know, it had a 1/4 tank. Now if I fill it up, I'll check in again, and my coolant temperature I know is nothing because the truck hasn't been running. Let's try everything else again. TAC is definitely reading high because I got my idle set at 850. Oh. Did it just make it angry? I think I might have. So I'm just going to pop this off now. I don't know if this is the correct way to do it or not, but I'm going to kind of set it up right here because I know that's about where it idles. So let's see. Okay, that worked. Good. When I get my HP tuner hooked up to this now, I'll check the fuel level and see how many percent it is, and then I will set my gauge according to what percent it says on the laptop. Well, I've got a HP tuner hooked up here. Key is on. And I'm just going to go connect the vehicle and record. Let's see what our fuel tank level is. 21 liters out of 99 liters. So we're basically just under a 1/4 tank. And right now we're reading just over a 1/4 tank. So, oh yeah, I definitely would have broke down. I don't have enough hands for this YouTube thing. I want to be able to hold the camera here so you guys can see and then use my other 2 hands. It's just not ideal. Okay, so let's pop this one off. Pop that off as straight as I could. Just gonna put it right back on, just in under a 1/4 tank. I'd rather think I have less gas than I actually have. Let's see. So right now we're reading under a 1/4 tank. I'm just gonna turn the key off again.
and we're reading under a quarter tank. We have 21 out of 99 liters. Right on. Let's check our actual RPM.
Okay, so right now we're reading right on pretty much 750. Sorry if I'm yelling, I'm still not used to this thing yet. And our idle, RPM is just on 1,000 RPM. We're dancing right around 1,000 right there, so I think I'll pop that one off too because it's actually too low now. Okay, went ahead and fixed it up. Now we're right on 1,000 RPM. That's sweet. I won't be able to check my speed right away, but when I do get out, I'll check my speed, see where I'm at like say 40 kilometers an hour, see if this is on 40 kilometers an hour, and then I can adjust it when I get stopped. But hey, look at this. We got gauges. That is so sweet. Oh my, it's so cool. Well, let's go see if the speed works. Speedometer is right there. We're right on 10 kilometers an hour. And right there, we're pretty much on 12-ish. It works. Hard to see from here, but, you know, how cool is that? Well, I got gauges. They all work now. That's so cool. Oh, man, I'm so excited. Absolutely excited. I was terrified that I wouldn't have gauges and that my temperature hand wouldn't work and all that stuff. It's unnecessary. Now, I don't know necessarily if the transmission temperature works, the coolant temperature works, because I haven't really gotten it up on the highway. I haven't really gotten it up to temperature yet, really. So I'll go through that as I get out on the road and start driving it and stuff and tuning. And we might have to revisit this. And if we do, we will. But for today, I've learned a lot. I have learned so much about electronics and little stepper motors and what works and what's not going to work and how to adjust them. So I think that's really cool. And hopefully you learned something too. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks to my YouTube members, patrons, and subscribers. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. YouTube members link is down here. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.